Hey, I'm talking about liquid. Rich enough to have your own jet. Rich enough not to waste time.
Are you wondering whether you are an investment banker or even how to behave like one? Well, look no further. In this video, we're going to analyze exactly what are the top signs that you are an investment banker or how investment bankers behave and whether you are going to be an investment banker based on your behavior. Plus, in the end, we have the ultimate rapid fire test to determine whether you are investment banker material or not. So if you pass this one, you're good to go for Bulge Bracket. Top sign number one that you are or are going to be an investment banker: your clothing style. Okay, so here we see an example of a normal human being. And to be very honest with you, this is something you want to avoid at all cost. Don't do it. Alright, I mean, here's a normal consultant. He's attempting to look casual in front of his client that he's selling a digitization strategy to. Hardly working. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a proper investment banker. 5 important points here to note down. First of all, the tie needs to be Hermes. Secondly, the watch, of course, Rolex. Thirdly, monk straps should be on point, or in summer, wear loafers. You can also turn up on a yacht like that. Fourthly, complete the look with a nice pochette. And most importantly, last point, never, I repeat, never forget to add at least one Patagonia clothing piece. Top sign number 2 that you are or are going to be an investment banker: your favorite activity. What are you doing, mate? What does it look like? I'm spreading the comms, obviously. If you are investment banker material, you definitely spend a significant amount of time spreading so-called comps, which are comparables, different ratios of different companies in industries or across industries. Here's a small tutorial. How to spread comps in 6 easy steps. First of all, get the company filings from Capital IQ, so that's your 10K, your 10Q, whatever it is. Pull equity research from whatever source you are using. Pull up a thing called spreadsheet, put in cash, share count and debt. Then get the company's trailing 12-month revenue and enter it along with, for example, the EBITDA for this particular example. Next up, take the projections of whatever clever dude wrote this equity research report and project your, in this case, revenue and EBITDA 2 years forward, and boom, you end up with your TEV revenue, TEV EBITDA multiple. Now repeat for as many companies you like to or your MD wants you to. Top sign number 3 that you are or are going to be an investment banker: your working hours. Don't stay up all night doing those company profiles, okay? But can you have them at my desk at 9 in the morning? Okay, thanks, huh? But it's already 11 p.m. Working hours are extremely long in investment banking, and if any industry, probably investment banking is the one industry that's known for having long work hours. And that can mean, 80, 90, 100 hours per week. How's that possible, you're asking? Now, if you really are investment banker material, then you might have done the calculation and you might have thought to yourself, that's not possible Monday to Friday. And you're right. You're most probably also going to work on the weekends. So on the weekends, of course, you'll take it a bit easier. You're not going to work from 8 till 10 in the night on the weekend, but you're still going to work a lot. And what's the reason for that? You have clients, and these clients have extremely high expectations because they are paying you extremely high amounts of money. So if the client calls you or the client calls your MD, then you are supposed to answer right away. That's also why it's very difficult to plan social activities, or like a holiday with your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, right? It's difficult. The one good message for you is the more senior you become, the better that gets. Top sign number 4 that you are or are going to be an investment banker. Excel. Okay, now let me just quickly run the most useful Excel macro here, just using my keyboard. Boom. Very useful. There is a big debate, in investment banking and management consulting on whether to use a mouse or not. I would say this is the largest debate since people started discussing whether God exists or not. So it's quite essential. And to be honest, in consulting, some people take it easier and they just use their mouse. So weak. But in investment banking, I would say it's even more common to not use the mouse and feel very cool about it. So it's actually quite straightforward, there's a pretty clear correlation between Excel expertise and the usage of the mouse. And it goes like this, as your expertise increases, the usage of the mouse decreases. But then there's this point where you think, is it really worth it? Should I really learn all of these shortcuts? Then you think to yourself, absolutely it's worth it, right? And then it keeps decreasing. So that's more or less the correlation here. Definitely not an investment banker. Much better. And why do you remove F1? Well, because if you press F1 accidentally in Excel, it pulls up, the help window, the Windows help window, which is really not a help at this point. And you do press F1 quite often accidentally because it's right next to F2. That's right. And F2 is one that you're using very often indeed in Excel. Top sign number 5 that you are or are going to be an investment banker. Financial jargon. Hey Kevin, sorry for the fire drill, but I really need your help for the next 60 minutes. This means your life for the next 60 minutes is most probably going to suck just a little bit. Kevin, do you have some bandwidth? The standard answer to that question should always be no. So in investment banking you have all of these terminologies, right? And some people who are outside of the industry are very much not familiar with it. On top of that, you have the financial jargon. So for example, SAE, pipe, spec, come up with the whack in your head and calculate a perfect DCF. And let me give you what that means in a second. Pipe is a private investment in public equity. SAE is a single asset entity. SPAC is a special purpose acquisition company. Look it up, it's super hot right now. WACC, of course, weighted average cost of capital, and DCF, the discounted cash flow. Done. So yeah, in investment banking you have very much, a lot of these definitions, different words, finance in general, right? If you work on the buy side, the sell side, front office, whatever, you're always going to have these definitions, these special abbreviations, and many people who are new to the industry totally can't deal with it. And that's also a strategy. I mean, if you sit in a meeting, you drop all of these abbreviations, some people will not know all of them, that's for sure, and then people of course are intimidated. They will not ask for the definition because of the fear that they might appear stupid. My general advice there would be to just read more finance literature, read more finance blogs, but also, most importantly, hang out with people from the finance industry and you will very quickly get the grip of it. Plus, nowadays, just listen to podcasts, to lectures by people from the financial fields and you will get acquainted with all of these definitions and abbreviations pretty quickly. Top sign number 6 that you are or are going to be an investment banker. Your exit options. Alright, exit options, my friends. There's 2 options for you, okay? Just 2. Private equity or hedge funds. This guy over there that was stupid enough to start a company for himself, look at him! His salary got slashed and he has no equity value to show for that. The only time it is worth starting a company is when the story you're telling to investors is so much on point that they are going to pour millions and millions and millions into your startup already pre-Series A. Great. Now you don't really care about whether the startup fails or not, On paper, you're a millionaire. Perfect. Other than that, you have two options typically coming out of investment banking, or else those are the two desired paths, right? Hedge fund or private equity. That's it. And to be honest, for both of them, you are well on your way to become a net worth millionaire before age 30. So those are great options. Okay, here comes the ultimate rapid fire test to see if you are investment banker material. Your favorite pickup line? An actual line. What to do with the VIX? Short it. This thing here. 3 words most often used by your superiors: please, fix, thanks. Your favorite readings? Principles of Corporate Finance by Briley, Myers and Allen, and Investment Banking, Valuation, LBO and M&A by Rosenbaum and Pearl. And finally, what's your life motto? Models and bottles. Alright my friends, I hope you enjoyed it. Please, leave a comment how you liked it, leave a like and subscribe for God's sake. But also check out my video 7 signs you're a consultant, to find out, maybe you are a consultant indeed. And I'll now take a phone call. See you, bye bye.